So that was actually a good guitar practice. You know, when you power soak this Hughes and Kettner Tube Meister 18 down to a single watt, you don't get the feedback issue like you do in the on the 5 watt, which is what I normally run it. But so I was just improvising that. Started out this morning on June 30th, 2020. I was listening to some of that Vaporwave stuff that my friend, one of my friends, is really into. He likes the aesthetics. He tries to share all that stuff with me. Like, when I come over to his house, he shows me, like, these pictures on the internet of, like, pretty orange-yellow sunsets with, like, palm trees and, like, pink grid-like lines on the ground projecting into the horizon. You know, teal and turquoise colors with hot pink and like purple, and just he knows I like that kind of stuff and he likes it too. It's like a neo 1980s, early 90s kind of aesthetic where you have like a lot of colorful neon signs and just, you know, it's kind of like a throwback to the late 1980s. It's kind of like New Wave meets Lisa Frank, but like, I don't know. That's why they call it Vaporwave, and then like, yeah, a lot of the early 1990s kind of stuff. And actually, believe it or not, I have a nice, pretty, well, not exactly turquoise blue, but you know, for some of my smart lights in my house right now, and some of them are hot pink. And I'm using the Jackson Pro Series Soloist SL2Q MAH in the beautiful Caribbean blue fade color to do this with. And so anyway, I was just layering that on there. I'm not sure how well it come up in the recording because the recorder's not really aimed at the TV where the sound bar is. It's aimed more at my guitar amplifier. So I was trying to balance that out, and then I'll see if I can get permission from the person on YouTube to maybe do my own, I guess maybe a collaboration. So when I first upload this to YouTube, I'm gonna have to include just my guitar work, like toward the ending of this recording, where it's just me. And then that way people can kind of hear my guitar style while I'm waiting for permission from, I guess, the copyright holder or the creator of the content on there, and so I don't get a copyright strike, and so I don't upset anybody, and so I don't lose my channel. Now, if the owner of the music or the creator of the music or whoever owns the rights, if they are okay with the idea, then maybe I can just get this music and then actually do some re-recording, like where I take their original music, run it through some recording software, you know, on the computer, plug my guitar amplifier up to the recording interface on my computer, and just really jam out on some neat stuff. And they put really good scenery and artwork to these too. That's part of the whole big culture about this. Is just, it's stuff that you can kind of relax and listen to, and it just, this friend of mine that got me into this kind of stuff, I want to see if he wants to get into like making music. Like, I don't know if he's going to use software on a computer or use a keyboard or synthesizer, because a lot of this is like synth based. But that's why I'm using my DiMarzio Evolution bridge humbucker like I was using toward the end, because it's so much more of a cerebral. To me, it's like a more cerebral, intense, like mystifying kind of sound. And then I use my DiMarzio Evolution neck humbuckers for more, more romantic, more peaceful, gentle mood. But anyway, we'll just have to see what works out well with that. And then tomorrow I'm going to get my Hughes and Kettner Grandmeister Deluxe 40. Now what I'm thinking about doing is taking one of these amplifiers and setting it up next to the computer and just leaving it there as a recording amp. Probably the Tubemeister 18 as my recording amp, because I won't be using it really for gigging since I'll have the Grandmeister Deluxe 40. So that way when I want to record and when I want to just practice and gig, I can just leave one amp there for recording, another one for practice gigging and practice and taking out to gigs and events. So yeah, well, it's going to be really interesting. Alexa, what is the time and date?
It's Tuesday, June 30th, 2020 at 11:29 p.m.
And my name is Kristian Naugle. Hopefully you enjoy this. Hopefully you got something out of it. And like I said, I was just improvising that, and I don't even know what scale or mode or key that I'm doing. That's why I was so experimental. I was just taking just whatever notes fit the mood, like whatever notes work together. And I'm doing what Steve Vai, my kind of role model, or like what he recommends, just find out what works. Like, I think even he doesn't always know what scales and modes he plays in, or at least that's what he said in some interviews. He just said he finds whatever works and sounds good. And he's like a legendary guitar player who got his start with Frank Zappa in the early 1980s. Went on with Alcatraz in the mid-1980s, replacing Yngwie Malmsteen in the mid-1980s. Then in 86 through 88, he was touring with David Lee Roth, that was formerly of Van Halen, in 1986 and through 1988. Then 1989 through 1991, Steve Vai was an official member of Whitesnake. And then after that, he went completely solo. And then he's also a co-founder of the G3 concert tour with Joe Satriani. But yeah, somebody who's that skilled, that really well-known and really forefront in the 1980s. Says that he does not always know the music theory on some of the stuff he plays. He just experiments around until he finds something that really works out well. And that's what I'm doing, because like there's a lot of stuff I forgot about the guitar, and it seems like I'm really, really good, but that's just because I really try to apply myself and I let my curiosity really drive me and really try to, there's a lot of catching up I'm trying to do. I mean, I started playing guitar 25 years ago in February of 1995. And then I took a lot of years away from it. Off and on, a lot of years away from the guitar. And then now I'm back, and I'm better than I ever was. And now people want me to, they're interested in having me play at their venues and stuff like that. And I don't really think I'm that good yet, or up to that standard, and I really hope I don't let those people down. But, and another thing is, I'm really kind of surprised that they would even be interested in the kind of music that I do, because this progressive instrumental music that I do is so different from your typical mainstream music, like country music and metal and folk music is your typical common stuff. Like stuff that's made on the guitar, like people that play the guitar, if they play electric, solid body electric, they usually like to play metal. On occasion, classic rock. And then a lot of people play country music on an acoustic, or they'll play folk music. So your restaurants are very much like that kind of stuff, right? You got the Beaver Street Tap Room in Corydon, Indiana, where I went there and eat a whole bunch of times in September and I think October of 2019. And then late October of 2019, I started going to El Maguey, or El Maguey, however you pronounce it. We call it El Mogwai. Don't feed him after midnight, like Gremlins. The Mogwai is Gizmo from the 1984 movie. We call it that just because we don't really quite know how to pronounce the name, so we just give it a nickname. And it's a really good restaurant too. I've went there several times, and the owner of the restaurant puts a lot of effort into making like a masterpiece out of it. Not just the food; the quality of the food's good. They do a good job there. The service is good. They're very courteous, but the atmosphere. I mean, that place is owned by a Libra. And you know it. Like, if you know how Libra people are like, Libra, their astrological sign, like, if you know, like, the psychology and the personality of a Libra sun sign, you walk in that restaurant, you instantly know that a Libra controls what that restaurant, every aspect of that restaurant, from their customer service to the quality of the food, especially the decor and the aesthetics. I mean, I've told the owner like twice, maybe 3 times, but at least twice that I mean, a lot of careful consideration is put into the atmosphere of that restaurant to create like a very enjoyable experience for the customers. I mean, it goes beyond a lot of other places. I mean, it's not like your typical restaurant. It's really great. The attention to detail of just everything, the way it's decorated. I mean, I could live there. I mean, that's how much I like it. I mean, there's not arcade games there like Rec Bar, that arcade restaurant that I really like. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, Beaver Street Tap Room downtown in Corydon. They got people that just strum folk music on the guitar and play some kind of pop, and it's like light rock songs, just something they can sing and strum to on the acoustic. And then El Maguey, that Mexican restaurant. I've been there when they had some live music there, and they have a similar kind of setup. Of course, there's not a whole lot of space in these kind of places to use for like entertainment. So they do what they can, and anyway, so I'm probably going to sound like an alien to these people. I mean, they're going to look at my guitar and they're not going to recognize it as anything they're familiar with. And because it's a shredder guitar, it's for shred musicians that play a lot of scales and arpeggios, finger tapping, pinch harmonics, very fast playing, very, very pyrotechnic on there. It has a very low action to it. People that don't always do a lot of chords, because I seldom ever do chords. And then it's a beautiful looking guitar. I mean, and it's not even the best one you can get. It's only $1,000 guitar. Well, list price was $1,300 a year ago, but now it's $1,000 guitar. I want to upgrade eventually to a $1,500 guitar. And then this Floyd Rose double locking tremolo, people are going to see it and they're going to like not really understand it. And the whammy bar. And then, actually having somebody with a with a electric guitar amplifier that lights up blue, people are gonna instantly notice that as being different. So, like, I mean, everything about this matches my eccentric personality. Of course, I'm a Pisces in my sun sign, and I accurately guessed that I had Libra in my moon sign because I figured there has to be some reason why all these air sign people, especially Libra people, just really kind of gravitate toward me. There's something about it. They treat me like they treat me, a Pisces. They treat me like I'm an alumni at their high school reunion, and I'm like thinking, it's like, yeah, I'm from like a different school, and you're like treating me like one of your own. They just, I know like at least 4 Libra people that are just something about me. Just they're so curious to hear me talk and describe things. They really want to know how my mind works, and they seem like they just, and Gemini people are like this too. They really seem to want to absorb any information I give, and sometimes Libra people almost seem like a black hole. Like no light escapes a black hole, meaning that I feel like I don't get enough feedback or information or kind of responses or to get them to really kind of describe how they think and feel. They just want to listen to me and absorb me, like how a black hole absorbs light and matter and anything from it. And how you even know a black hole is there is you look at the event horizon around it, which is like with Libra people, it's like it's just really interesting how sometimes I have their undivided attention. And it's really kind of surprising because not everybody treats me that way. A lot of people treat me as if they're just not particularly interested in what I want to hear, but that's also because my Mercury is in Pisces, so I have the kind of communication that I got. I mean, I'm learning so much about myself and the complexities and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I mean, that's how people and their personalities are. And really, this astrology stuff is just, I mean, people have their personalities and their psychology and stuff, but it's like the astrology is just like a system of kind of cataloging and expressing and kind of and articulating what people's personality characteristics are like. I don't believe that stars and planets, like, I don't believe that they quite literally affect their personality and stuff like that. It's just that, well, that planets actually do exist and they're given names based on mythological entities, but these mythological entities are made up. They're just, invented by somebody or some organization of people or whoever, and they, like, meaning is assigned to them based on lessons that need to be taught. And I mean, it's just, I mean, as with anything, I mean, there's, and I never really believed in this kind of stuff or knew about it until a friend of mine got me into it, and I've seen how accurate the stuff is. And it explains a lot about me because I feel I've never really felt like I'm from this planet or really belong here, because I don't really relate with people in like a really grounded kind of way. And I just feel like an alien from another world who came here to Earth on vacation and got stuck here and got marooned here and can't get back home. So I just got to learn how to deal with the natives. Now that's not literally how it is. I mean, I was born here in southern Indiana in 1980, and I'm just a person like anybody else is. But like, events in my life have really shaped my psychology and things like that. When I was like 5 years old, like the neighborhood bullies would come over to pick on me, and nobody was around to defend me, so I would just try to figure out some way to scare them off. So I picked up a handful of gravel, like rocks, out of the driveway and put them in my mouth, and pretended like I was eating rocks, and then it actually successfully scared those people off. They said, "Ooh, he's weird," and then they left. There's just all kind of stuff like that throughout my life. Just a lot of deep curiosities drive me, and I don't resist the learning process. I mean, a lot of stuff's a mystery to me my whole life, and it's only been recently that I've really been understanding myself, and I've been going through a lot of growing pains, a lot of crying, which is the growing pains, and a lot of my friends worry about me, and they think I need to go seek some therapy, but I question why. I mean, I'm not doing self-harm. I'm not hostile toward other people. I've actually become much more nurturing and compassionate toward people, and warm toward people, and helpful and positive. I mean, I don't see what's wrong with what I'm going through. I mean, if I were to, like, take sharp objects and make cuts into my body and vandalize other people's stuff and relentlessly cuss at everybody and have these big outbursts of anger and violence, then I would think, yeah, maybe I do need to go to counseling or therapy or something like that. But I mean, if I, play some music and I make music that's so beautiful that it just almost makes me weep in intense emotional overload and start crying a whole bunch, like why is that bad? I mean, why is it bad to feel humane warmth and compassion towards people and then nurture them and affect positive change in them? It's not wrong. I mean, it just, there's power in the ability to be humane and warm and caring and willing to just help people. I mean, even if it's just a hug, to just deep personal communication through, really even through gestures. I mean, there's so many communication channels that people do. It's not just written or verbal with words. I mean, there's voice tone, there's the context of voice tone, there's the context of the words, there's facial expressions, there's gestures, there's all kind of ways to communicate. And when you use two or three or even, three or more of these things, they can really kind of work in harmony and get results, because I've learned that people they don't really have to be enemies. I mean, there's no absolute reason why people really need to hate each other or be enemies. It's just that we as humans inadvertently step on each other as we try to navigate through this maze of circumstances that turns us in all kind of directions and confuses us and causes us to even jeopardize what our goals and objectives and desires are, because we get lost in so much misunderstanding. So, anyway, my name is Kristian Naugle. You can spell that with K-R. Last name Naugle with a G. And Alexa, what is the time and date?
It's Tuesday, June 30th, 2020 at 11:47 p.m.
And how long is this recording running for? When did I start it? 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 10 seconds. So yeah, I'm going to have to end this for tonight and go to bed. I got a big day tomorrow, receiving that Hughes & Kettner Grandmeister Deluxe 40 guitar amplifier. I get really excited about it. So hopefully you enjoy, hopefully you learn something.